Really excited to have two panelists joining us today to talk about customer engagement and loyalty, specifically in digital channels, but we'll also talk about omni-channel and how we engage customers, in sort of the consumer client that we live in today. I think that the numbers speak for themselves. There's, probably 400 articles on Forbes or Inc. that talk about the importance of loyalty and engagement. And I think that retailers see that play out. And so I think it will be really exciting to hear from our panelists today. We've got Mike Frankel and Morgan Sabaro. I'll allow them to introduce themselves and provide a little bit more background. But Mike is the VP of Memberships at Petco and came all the way from San Diego to be with us today. So really excited to have him here. Morgan is the Director of Digital Transformation for Mavis, and she flew down from New York. So excited to have them both here with us. Please join me in welcoming them. Good deal. All right, let's kick things off with just introductions. Would love to have you take a minute, share with us what your background is, your current role, and your areas of focus. And Morgan, we'll start with you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. My name's Morgan, and I'm the Director of User Experiences and Digital Transformation at Mavis Tire. We're based out of Millwood, New York, which is in Westchester. I actually started my career as a software engineer at Meta, working on Instagram back in the day, but quickly pivoted to work at Mavis to try to connect with our customers and provide a better digital experience online. Today, we're focused on two main efforts. First, we're redoing our website. We're very happy to say it launched in August, and now we're working on improving it. And additionally, we're building out new technology for our stores. So we're trying to make sure that our technicians and our store managers have technology to provide an amazing customer experience for everyone.
And hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here with you, Andy, and the Method team. My name is Mike Frankel. I'm the VP of Member Programs at Petco. I have a kind of a long marketing background, worked at places including American Express, 1-800-Flowers, TripAdvisor, and Amazon. I've been at Petco for about 2.5 years now. For those who don't know, Petco is a omni-channel pet health and wellness company. And in my role here, I am focused on driving growth, retention, and engagement through our membership programs, which from a customer-facing standpoint is under the branding of Vital Care.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I was struck by this statistic from a Salesforce survey that came out last year that said 62% of customers say experience in one industry influences their expectations in another. And so I think that's bodes well for our conversation today. Not often you have someone from a pet care company along with someone from a tire company talking, but consumers have experiences across a range of retail segments, and they carry those expectations into those different contexts. So I think that we can kind of all learn something from these different areas. I guess if you kind of take a step back and think about engagement as a whole, and what customers expect in today's climate, and what's unique about engagement in your industry, how do you think about engaging customers and what loyalty means and that? Mike, we'll start with you.
Sure. So with the pet industry, it is really interesting. One of the statistics that really stands out to me is approximately 80% of pet parents consider their pet a part of their family and want to do the very best for them, but only half actually know what to do. And so there's a real opportunity. It's a challenge and an opportunity that we face every day, and it's really one of the things that motivates us to get up in the morning and especially think about, from a membership standpoint, how we can solve those challenges. But the other piece is obviously there's a cost associated with caring for your pet. I think if any of you have a pet, you probably the very first time you had a new pet were shocked at the cost potentially. But in general, in the environment that we're in, it's difficult or challenging economic times, value becomes incredibly important. And so from a membership standpoint at Petco, we're incredibly focused on how do we help guide customers through the pet parenting journey while also delivering amazing value for when they do so.
Morgan, how about you? How do you think about customer engagement within the context of your business?
Well, for us, it's a little bit different because unlike pets, people don't want to have to come to an auto body repair shop. They don't want to have to take time out of their day to buy new tires. It's extremely expensive. It takes a lot of time. And so it's typically something goes wrong, and that's what brings you in. So for us, that's kind of our first way to engage with customers is taking a bad day and making it not so bad. So if we can provide a really seamless, frictionless experience online, make it easy for those customers to come into the store, and then provide a great experience with our store associates so they have the tools to get the customer in and out quickly, that ultimately drives loyalty for us because next time an accident occurs or you have to come in, wasn't that bad. So you're like, all right, I'm going to return to Mavis. And then additionally, we engage with customers a lot to try to get them to do preventative maintenance. So you need an oil change, or it's been a while since you've changed your tires, or there's going to be a blizzard, so you should come in and get snow tires. But ultimately, what brings customers into us and brings them in time and time again is they, trust us and they need, support, and we're there to provide it for them, and we're giving a really great in-shop experience.
That's awesome. I'd love to have you expand on that, specifically within the context of your digital transformation efforts. Mavis has been undergoing a digital transformation for quite a while, and I think that the rollout of your new website is sort of a manifestation of that. So I would love for you to describe what is digital transformation to you, and how has that changed your approach to engagement and customer acquisition?
Yeah, definitely. So a big part of our digital transformation has been taking the technology that we have today and just making it a better user experience for everyone involved. So for example, on the website right now, on our old site, we would show tires and we'd give you information about the tires and prioritize them in a list for you. But when we launched a new site where we were showing the same tires, just curated in a different way, in a different form, our conversion rate went up 15%. And that was not data-driven, that was just solely a better user experience. And so for us, a lot of our digital transformation work is taking the foundations that have made our business strong, but just enhancing them like crazy so it's easier for customers to use. So that's been the website side of things. Now we're expanding the site, adding new functionality and improving it for those customers. But in the store, we're doing the same thing. So we've been working with Method for a really long time to build out this new store technology. And the vision is that a customer can come into the shop, we'll be able to figure out quickly what's wrong with their car, what all their needs are. We'll give them accurate wait times, which is a huge pain point in our industry. And we'll get them in and out seamlessly, all through while giving them digital touch points and communicating what's going on with their car while it's in the shop. And so we're really trying to rethink what this industry could be like and how convenient it could be for customers. And it's all through providing this better digital customer experience.
That's awesome. Any quick lessons learned that you'd like to share with us today about rolling out a new website?
There have been so many lessons that we've learned along the way. I would say a big one is just making sure that the right people are in the room for conversations. When we are thinking about tires, we've been making decisions and then realized down the line that, maybe we should have included, this more store associates or other people who are front lines and really know a lot more information than just the tech team would. And so that's really helped us make quicker decisions and more informed decisions earlier instead of having to go back and change the code after things have already been built. So that's been a big one. And also I'd say for us specifically, having solid definition of what success means, because when you are changing a website, there are so many metrics that are going to change along the way. And so for us, we're always driving to get more customers into the store. So you go online to make a reservation to come into the shop. But along the way, maybe we start selling different types of tires because we're curating a list differently. But that metric doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we're getting more people into the store and that's our main KPI. And so finding what that success metric is and then making sure to reduce the noise around everything else, I think that's really helped us as well.
And great lessons learned and also really hard to do, hard to keep people focused along the way. Mike, I'll pivot to you. In some ways, in many ways, Petco has undergone transformation as well over the last several years and really becoming, an e-commerce omni-channel giant in the pet care space. Can you describe a bit what is Petco's membership program and why is it important to Petco?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, our membership program is called Vital Care. There are 2 tiers, if you will, within the program. There's a free program, Vital Care Core, which looks a lot like a lot of retail loyalty programs. You earn points for every purchase. And then it allows us to deliver personalized recommendations. We also have special offers and members-only pricing. And then the second tier of our membership program is called Vital Care Premier, and as a paid membership program. So right there, it's, I think, pretty unique for a lot of retailers in terms of having a recurring revenue program like that. But what Vital Care Premier does is it provides pet parents with, if you think about the nutrition and supplies that your pet needs every day and the checkups and the services that you need to keep your pet at optimum health. This basically brings together all of the Petco ecosystem to help pet parents care for their pets. And it's been amazing watching the growth of this program over the last few years. I think when we started this about 3 years ago, since then, we've kind of launched a series of innovations to expand the benefits, to expand the types of pets that can have plans available in the program. So it started out, it was very dog-centric. Then we added benefits that made it more relevant for cat parents. And then today, there are plans for reptiles and birds and fish and small animals. So it's been really interesting. We're over 650,000 paid members in this program. And the results, in addition to helping pet parents do what's best for their pets, the results for Petco have been amazing. So customers who are part of our paid membership program spend 3 times that of an average customer. And more importantly, perhaps, we're moving them through our ecosystem. So they're increasing the number of trips that they make, they're increasing their spend, and that happens across all of our categories. So introducing pet parents to all of the facets of Petco and moving them across the enterprise has been, really a big focus for us, and it's been exciting to see the results.
That's amazing. One thing that both of you mentioned to me when we first started discussing doing this panel was, I get the talk has got the words digital strategy in it, but it's so much more than digital. The digital channel is important, but it's not the only thing. And both of you mentioned that to me early on. And so I would love to dig into what omnichannel means to you, and specifically the value of in-store employees. I think one interesting statistic from a Microsoft retail survey showed that 79% of consumers say being able to engage with a knowledgeable store associate is important or very important for them in order to maintain their loyalty or engagement with a brand. So I'm curious from your perspective, what's the role of employees in your stores, and how does that coordinate with your digital strategy. Morgan, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. So for us, people don't know much about what their car needs. There's a very niche amount of people who do actually know what they want. And so for us, having that trusted person in the store who can help answer questions for you is super important. We're about 50% walk-in customers, and then 30% of people call. And the reason it's so high in those channels is because people really want that touch point where they want to understand what they're buying. They care about safety. They want to make sure the right tires are on their vehicle. And so for us, having those trusted, knowledgeable associates in the store to provide that experience for the customer is hugely important. From the digital side of things, though, our goal is really to get customers into the store so we can make sure we're helping them make the right choices. But we try to use our digital platforms as well to educate our customers when we can. So, for example, when we rolled out our new website, we actually reduced the amount of customers who were entering the wrong tire size and therefore ordering the wrong tires by 50%, which is a huge amount. And a lot of that comes from teaching customers, having diagrams about where you can find your tire size, and making sure that customers were more informed. Still, customers still don't quite know what they need. So we have the store associates, but the vision for the future is to make sure that we're using our digital channels to get customers into the store and make them as educated as possible. And then using the store as that final confirmation to really make customers feel comfortable with their purchase.
It's awesome. So incredibly important to the overall strategy. Mike, how about you?
It's very similar for us at Petco. We have approximately 1,500 retail locations across the country, and our partners, that's what we call our store associates, are incredibly knowledgeable and passionate about pets and how to care for all of their health needs. And they play such a critical role in driving overall enterprise results, but specifically for membership, many of them are members of our paid program. They're our biggest advocates. They can speak from personal experience to guests, and so much of our signups for the program is driven by those store interactions. The ability to tell an individual customer, to show them the savings that they're going to get by being a member. We have calculators and tools that are available to them to bring it to life. And what we see and the way we talk about the program is essentially it's a membership that pays for itself. So on average, a dog and cat pet parent can save $350 a year. So it's meaningful savings, but you also get the guided pet parenting expertise that comes with our partners, and they build trust. And so whether a customer is in our grooming salon or visiting one of our vets or is in the center of the store purchasing food, there's an opportunity and an entrance for our partners to engage the guest in talking about membership and how it could meet their needs.
Yeah, that's awesome, and really speaks to the importance of education and training with the frontline employees who are interacting with customers on a regular basis, and making sure that they can educate and that they understand the benefits of a program and can articulate that to customers. So it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and we actually have ongoing training and communications with our partners to make sure that they are aware of all the innovation that we've launched over the last few years with the program, and that they're able to be a representation of the program. And then there's the fact that because there are members of the program, and because they're interacting with our guests who are members of the program, in many ways, they're also our best source of feedback on what's working and what's not working.
That's great. So, Morgan, one of the things that you mentioned to me in one of our early conversations was just the importance of customer experience as a differentiator within your business. There's certainly competition within for both of your businesses. There are plenty of places for people to go to take care of their pets or to take care of their cars. And so what does customer experience mean to you? How do you differentiate in the market? What does that look like in practice to really value customer experience? And can you give us any examples?
Yeah. So we actually were discussing this the other day because we decided internally that what our customers value, if we had to put it in a nice equation, would be the price. So how much do they have to spend? Quality, is the job being done right? Is it safe? Do they feel like they have knowledgeable technicians? And the last one is convenience. And that's been a new add into the industry. But going back to one of the earlier points you said, people expect convenience across all aspects of their life, and now they expect it in the automotive industry as well. And so for us, it's hard to differentiate with price. We have good prices, but so does everyone. Quality and training is pretty standard across the industry. And so where we're really trying to differentiate and provide that nice customer experience is through convenience. And so that's what's led us to do this digital transformation and provide that customer experience, is because we want to make it as convenient and frictionless as possible. So online, we want to be able to, get people their tires they need, help them understand what they need, and then get them into the store and be able to order parts seamlessly, be able to get their car on the lift as quickly as possible, and be able to give them transparency around what's happening with their vehicle and how long it's going to take to repair. And for our industry specifically, someone will come in and they say, oh, my brakes aren't working well. And we don't know what's wrong with the car, how long it's going to take to fix it, what the price of getting those parts are. I mean, we don't know anything when the customer walks in, but to be able to get to that diagnosis really quickly and then be able to give them accurate and transparent understanding into what's wrong and how long it's going to take to fix and what that pricing is going to be is really a key differentiator, because a lot of that stuff takes a lot of time and customers just don't want to sit in the waiting room all day. So we're trying to help fix that.
Awesome. Mike, what about for you? What does good customer experience look like at Petco?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually similar in many ways. I think the in-person interactions are so important, and things like going to the vet regularly, getting your pet your dog groomed regularly are critical to staying on top of your pet's health needs, so that you can uncover potential issues before they become really problematic. And so for us, we're focused on both in the digital experience as well as in all of our in-store experiences, making sure that our members are taking advantage of the benefits that they have, because the more you use those benefits, not only is the membership allowing you to save money, but it also means that you're staying on top of your pet's health and being proactive about their care. And so so much of the customer experience for us is geared around making sure that not only are people seeing the value of their membership decision, but are also hopefully, it's leading to better outcomes for them and their pets.
100%. That's great. In terms of challenges to deliver on that exceptional customer experience that you desire to, and maybe they're not challenges. Maybe we frame them as opportunities. Where are your biggest opportunities to sort of improve customer experience as it stands today? Morgan, do you want to start?
Sure. I mean, kind of as I touched on earlier, our big challenge is that we don't necessarily know what's wrong with the part or what's wrong with the car. And so we're going to need to figure out how much the labor is going to cost. We're going to need to figure out how to order that part on time. Oftentimes we have to get a tire from a just-in-time service and get it delivered to that store for that customer as soon as possible. And so there are so many moving parts happening at one time. That's kind of punny because parts. But anyway, we're constantly trying to make sure that we're on top of everything. And when you're someone in a store and there are 8 bays and every single car has different issues and needs different parts shipped in, different tires shipped in, you're going to miss things. And so that's what we've seen happen time and time again. And we're trying to build out systems that will really help manage this for you and make sure to take some of that load off. So for example, right now, if you want to order a part and you're a store manager, you're clicking through like 7 different screens, you're using different applications to source that part. And then finally it will get to the store and you're calling the parts manufacturer. Sometimes you're walking across the street to pick up the part. I mean, there's a lot moving. And we're trying to build systems where when that car comes in, even if we don't know what's wrong with the car, we've sourced every single part that car could potentially need and the prices for it. So we can give really quick quotes. And if that car happens to need something, we're ready to go get it. And so now we're being proactive instead of reactive for all of our customers. And that's going to provide a much better experience. But it's a huge challenge because there are so many moving pieces. There's so much data involved, so many vendors involved. But I think that that's one of the areas that we're most excited about. And we think there's going to be huge impact there.
That's awesome. Mike, how about you? Areas of opportunity for improving the experience of the membership program?
Yeah, so for us, our vision is to provide a gold standard experience for our members and to make the experience as frictionless as possible. Obviously, things don't always work as intended. Things break or don't work as intended. And the way we've been able to combat that or address that is a couple of things. One, just to call out, I work with an amazing team that is on top of customer feedback and reacting real time to any issues that emerge. But then the second part has been about kind of designing for that. And what I mean by that is oftentimes, and many of you probably have experienced this as well, you have to make a decision with limited resources. Do I focus on building the new great thing, or do I spend the resources on fixing something that's not working? And what we've done intentionally is essentially created the notion of kind of grow and run teams so that we have dedicated teams that are focused on one of the two. And so the growth squad, if you will, can focus on building out new capabilities, while the run squad and team can be focused on the current day experience and how do we make sure that any challenges that do emerge can be addressed right away, because a pet parent doesn't want to necessarily wait till a new product release comes 6 months down the road to solve a problem that they're facing today.
That's great. I want to pivot a bit to a concept that I think has been really hot in the industry for a long time, and that is personalization. I think that we've seen some ebbs and flows around the actual activation of personalization. And so I'm just curious to get your perspective. Where are you at in terms of using the data available to segment customers and then personalize experiences, and where do you see that going for your business in the future? Morgan, we'll start with you.
Awesome. So we've been collecting data for a while, but it's been car focused. So we know what car came in, what the license plate was, that's our unique identifier, and what services that car had. But what we've been lacking is really tying that car to a customer. And when you have car data, there's still some insight and personalization you can use. Like if they are an EV car, their tires will wear out quicker. So we want to give them something with a higher warranty, mileage warranty. But when it comes to customers, we are just at the beginning of trying to understand who our customers are. And maybe a customer owns multiple cars and we're able to personalize for a more broad experience for them. And so for us, that's kind of the vision, is taking our customer data, we're working on customerifying it now, and really bucketing our customers into core segments and targeting them that way. We've also started using a lot of new tools that we're excited about, one of which is called SimilarWeb. And it started to tell us a lot more about our customers. So for example, one of the things we've learned recently is that we actually see the highest amount of women in the industry compared to most of our competitors. And we think that might be because of our teal, like welcoming color compared to a lot of the competitors with their like red and black, harsher colors. But we're starting to see insights like that and thinking about how we can use those for more targeted and personalized approaches. But we're still very early on in that.
It's interesting. Mike, what about you?
So one of the reasons why a lot of retailers put loyalty programs in place is because there's essentially a value exchange, right? So I'm providing you with my information, and in return, I'm getting some sort of discounts or some benefits as a member. And so the onus is on us to make sure that we're leveraging that data to the best in the best way possible. And so that allows us to do things like send personalized care notifications. So if your pet is overdue for a service or a vaccine, or we think you're maybe ready to buy another bag of food, it's time. And so we're able to send out those reminders. We've also been able to leverage data to build out really interesting and effective propensity models. So identifying customers who are likely to sign up for our paid membership, or being able to identify what's the next best, most logical thing that this customer might need or want to purchase. And so then taking all of that and pushing it out across all of our channels, whether it be through CRM or customer service, or even in store, is really where the big opportunity lies for us to continue to innovate.
That's awesome. It's really activating personalization across the customer journey, and not just seeing it as a concept to be used for more customer acquisition, but also just improving the experience of existing customers, which I think is what you're speaking to there. So I think that's great. So I think we talked a little bit about omni-channel, but I'm curious to learn a bit more about how you sort of think about your strategy, your engagement strategy across channels. So for you, does that start with designing for one channel in mind? I think, Morgan, you mentioned you driving another pun, driving customers into the store as sort of a primary spot. But any other insights in terms of how you think about engaging with customers in an omnichannel environment? And Mike, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, so for us, and thinking about our paid membership program in particular, we started out as kind of largely a services-focused offering for dogs. And when the program really took off is when we added benefits that were, like a discount on nutrition or discount on litter that was redeemable in our pet care centers or online. And so as we were able to build out these experiences both digitally and in person is when the program really took off, and our growth accelerated. And I think the other thing, and then there were times where, for example, we first built, in the essence of speed to market, we first built our sign-up flow for the paid membership as a digital experience, either in the app or on the website. And what was happening is, and our pet care center partners were telling us that they were having trouble because, if the customer's cell phone is not getting a signal, or there's Wi-Fi issues because there's a lot of metal in the building, they were clamoring for the ability to sign up guests for the program directly at the point of sale, the register. And so getting that on the roadmap and prioritizing that, listening directly to their feedback, is another example of where the getting to a place where a customer could sign up and engage in their benefits regardless of the channel of their, regardless of the channel they happen to be interacting with us. And then, just whether that's digitally, whether that's in the stores, or whether they're calling our customer service team.
Awesome. I'd like to build on that idea of getting feedback. If we think about our products, they're never done, right? We're never done perfecting the service or the product that we put out into the market. And so getting feedback from customers, from employees is incredibly important. How do you do that today? How do you operationalize that? How do you learn from what's happening, from the experiences with your customers, from the experience with your frontline employees, and incorporate that into the product, get it on the roadmap, and evolve? Morgan, do you want to kick us off with that?
Sure. So this is actually something that we're working through today. Prior to the new technology we're building, we really built everything early 2000s and haven't changed it since. And so that's what makes this digital transformation so impactful. And we're trying to come up with ways to make sure that going forward, we're able to identify those customer needs and build out technology for them in the future. So on our website, which just launched, we've been analyzing a lot of data, trying to understand, where are customers doing things that we wouldn't expect, and why are they doing that, and going through a lot of user research, we're going to start doing user testing to try to understand that. And we also have surveys that we send to customers after they make an appointment online, asking for their feedback. So we're hoping to see some insight there as well. And then for the technology we're building in store, we've been giving it to our trainer. His name is Corey. He's been providing us with a lot of feedback, and then we take in his potential suggestions, we prioritize them, and then we've been putting them on a roadmap if there's something that we want to address. So we're definitely trying to bring in that feedback and iterative cycle into our development and road mapping, but it's definitely a new process.
Awesome. Mike, how do you gather feedback and incorporate it?
Yeah, so similarly, we do a lot of customer research through surveys and follow up post transactions. But in many ways, I think our best source of feedback that we see on the membership side comes from our partners. As I mentioned earlier, from a paid membership standpoint, most of our partners are members of the program. But even if they're not in the paid program, they're in the Vital Care Core, which is our free tier. And we have an internal tool that allows them to provide feedback, and is kind of an ongoing dialogue. And I have members of my team who are monitoring that and interacting with them all the time, practically 24/7. And we identify issues, which is great, but oftentimes they also identify really interesting opportunities, things that we haven't thought of. And so we get this great mix of kind of innovation as well as bug fixing that comes from our employees, our partners, who are pet parents themselves.
That's awesome. I've got one more question, and then I'm going to turn it to all of you and those of you who are on the Zoom. So prepare yourselves. Lessons learned. You both have gone through quite a bit of change within your current industries, and done a lot, executed a lot. Can you share 1 to 2 pieces of advice with those of us out here who are trying to create better customer experiences and drive more engagement? And we'll start with Morgan.
Okay. For me, I'd say that one of the biggest challenges we've had has really been change management around these new technologies and coming up with new processes to, teach people what we're doing and why. And with a lot of the new tools we're using and systems we're building, it's just led to, people being scared of change and not knowing how it will affect them and what the new systems will be. And I think that we've tried to be really empathetic as we've been going through these processes, and understanding people's fears and understanding why, you know, they're attached to what they were doing before. And, you know, sometimes it's emotional, but most of the time people have really good reasons about, you know, why something in the past was working really well and what they want to see in the future. And we've tried to align, you know, the direction we're heading with their core values and what they needed out of the old systems. And I think that when we've done that and in situations that has worked well, we've been the most successful. There have obviously been many periods of time where, you know, there are two different opinions and we don't know which direction to go in. But for the most part, I think that once we are able to truly understand what's happened in the past, we're able to go in the right direction in the future.
That's great. Mike.
So I'm going to mention, I mentioned before that I previously worked at Amazon. At Amazon, there's a leadership principle around customer obsession. And it goes, you know, leaders start with the customer and work backwards from there. And so I'm incredibly fortunate to work with a cross-functional team that is truly obsessed with the customer and the customer experience. And not only does that make coming to work fun and exciting every day, it also allows us to deliver really strong results. And when we think about the customer, we're not just thinking about the end customer, the person, the pet parent, but we're thinking about our internal customers as well, be it on the digital side or in our pet care centers. And so I think the lesson learned here is around having a really high bar for who's on the team, and making sure that you've got the right level of customer focus across the organization. And then connected to that, I think one of the things that the team does really well is around collaboration and communication, so that whenever we have a change coming down the road, we have a very strong, detailed project plan of everything that needs to happen before this innovation or whatever it is that we're doing becomes public, so that everyone in the organization is prepared and knows what's coming and is trained and is ready to hit the ground running on day one.
Awesome. Okay. I'll turn it out to you all. What questions do you have for either Mike or Morgan or both? All right, I see a hand in the middle, Brad.
Testing. Okay. This question's maybe more for Mike, but I'm curious if you ever see the digital space becoming so large that it makes sense to maybe close down brick and mortar stores, or is there still like a tangible value in having that face-to-face experience, whether it's, you know, dog grooming or training, just stuff like that, that it'll always make sense to kind of have brick and mortar?
That's a good question. I think for us, the services that we're able to provide in our pet care centers, you mentioned grooming and training, as well as all the services we provide in our Vetco locations for vet care, is one of the things that makes us truly unique and differentiates us from single channel competitors. It also allows us a better opportunity to get to know our customers and to understand their specific pet's needs in a way that I think becomes difficult if if you have a single channel focus.
Morgan, I don't think your shop is going to be replaced.
Don't think so.
Yeah. Unless people are getting tires in the metaverse. Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. It doesn't need to be.
We got another question online. How do you identify loyal customers? Many times it's difficult to differentiate brand loyal customers from repeat buyers because of the perks or some promotions that you might be offering. Is there a way to understand it better?
Who's actually loyal?
Well, that's a good question. And there's lots of ways to answer that question. I think one thing to think about is kind of leveraging a statistical methodology of downstream impact, where you essentially take an audience that of lookalikes, and you think of group A takes a certain action, group B does not take that action, and then you track their behavior before and after over time. And if you have that right control group identified, so if you think about signing up for Vital Care Premier, our paid membership, if you compare the behavior of those customers over time compared to customers who look identical in every other way, same pet type, same spend level, same trip frequency, et cetera, you can see the paths diverge over time. And so that's one of the ways that we've been really kind of intentional about our data modeling and the work that we've done on kind of reporting and analyzing our customer behavior.
Yeah, we definitely don't have anything that sophisticated yet, but one of the things that we do look at is when a customer calls us or walks into the store, we look at what information they give us about their car and their tires. So if you call the call center and you know your tire size, we're assuming that the only reason you know your tire size is because you've been shopping around online previously, and therefore you have an idea of what you might be looking for, and you're probably not a very loyal customer. Whereas the customer who calls and says, I have a Honda Accord and I need to come in today, and has no idea about their tire size, probably just called us because they know us and they know our brand and they're more loyal to us. And so they're going to come into the shop. And so depending on how much people know, we can assume how much online research and shopping and where they are in their relationship with Mavis.
Just curious, what role does experimentation play in your execution, whether through A/B tests, multivariate tests, or otherwise?
We are currently trying to set up A/B testing on our website, and we're excited to see, what information that shows us. As far as our marketing in our stores, though, we'll do a bunch of different testing where we'll roll out, a specific idea or concept into just a few stores and compare it, whatever happened in that store, to what's happened in other stores. But our testing has almost exclusively been in the shop, and it hasn't been online yet.
I would say we do a fair amount of testing in a lot of our channels. It's easier, obviously, in the digital channels, but everything from who we identify as a potential target to what's the right message to get the customer to convert are all things that we can test. I would say that is actually one of the biggest unlocks going forward. And one of the things to think about is like how to build that capacity into your model to plan for it. I'm kind of a data junkie. And so my answer would always be that there's never enough A/B testing. Although just at some point, you have to declare a winner and move on to the next test.
We got another one online here. This one's for Morgan. Similar to auto maintenance, I work in an industry where consumers only engage with us because they have to, not because they necessarily want to. How have you gone about finding opportunities to add unexpected customer delight to an otherwise mundane user job?
Yeah, I mean, we've been focusing on making that in-store experience as good as possible. But even before we started to bring in the digital customer experience aspects, we've always prioritized making the store as convenient and comfortable as possible. So almost all Mavis stores have working stations and Wi-Fi, so people can, try to get things done while they're in the shop. We have children's play areas in a lot of stores. So, moms who are stuck there with their kids can try to entertain their kids. And so it's those simple delights, you could say, in the store that have provided a good customer experience and that keep people coming back when they really, you're right, don't want to be there.
I got one more from the crowd. You both have businesses where you have a significant number of associates, employees that are frontline with your customers and this type of digital transformation, the types of experiences you're trying to create. How do you involve them? How do you motivate them to be a part of that change? How do you involve them to make sure that they are, adopters and evangelizers of the changes that you're putting in place?
So I'll take that one to start. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of our partners are pet parents themselves, and a lot of them are members of our membership program. So we get a really high level of engagement from them. But I think the key for us is around, one of the keys has been around setting goals and providing team goals. It's, an entire store, it's a team effort, and being able to provide the reporting back to those stores on a daily basis. Here's how many of the guests that walked in the door today. Here's how many converted into one of the membership tiers. And being able to provide that feedback and see, so that they're seeing every single day and learning what's working, what's helping them drive signups, where those signups are coming from, has been incredibly helpful for them to, in addition to the tools we provide, for them to invent their own tools. While we provide sort of a lot of communications and marketing materials, we've sometimes see some of our engaged partners create their own display areas to promote the program, to put their local touch on it. And when you get a store that's engaged like that, that's when the results really take off.
Yeah, we're really similar where, our stores are all wrapped around a goal of having better Google reviews, and they want to get that 5-star review from the customer at the end of the day. Their bonuses or compensation is often determined by those reviews. And so when you give the store new technology or really even any new pieces of the experience that's going to help them do a better job and provide a better customer experience, they're so excited about it, and they are so eager to try to implement it themselves because they know that it's going to lead to potentially more 5-star reviews. And so, as we've been building out new technology, we've always been trying to explain to the stores and our training team how it's going to benefit the stores and the customer experience, because at the end of the day, that's really what the stores care about. Is they're very aligned with management, that providing that experience and getting great reviews and having happy customers is the ultimate goal.
Something I would imagine is similar between the automotive space and the pet space is you have households that might have folks spending on the same pet or vehicle. I'm curious how household spend is factored into how you guys think about loyalty, if at all. What consideration does that play in your program development?
Yeah, so for us, it's certainly one of the things that's interesting is there is sort of the household level, and then there's the individual level. So if you think about our paid membership program, those plans are at a pet level. And so you could have a household with multiple pets, some that are enrolled in the program, some that are not. But what we try to do across all of our channels is still acknowledge and recognize your household as let's say a paid member. Even if some of your pets are not enrolled in the program. And so largely for us, a lot of what we do, because a lot of the needs of a pet are so specific, a lot of the marketing and a lot of the programs we have are structured kind of around that. But we also communicate kind of the roll up to the pet parent and can provide sort of a health report card, for example, for each of your pets in your household.
Yeah, for us, we're trying to household our data right now. So step one is, attaching cars to customers. And then step two is trying to match customers to a household. And the main vision here is that when a customer walks into a store with a specific car, that could be the husband's car, the kid's car, the grandpa's car, you have no idea. But you still want to be able to connect all the dots to provide the best customer experience. And so if you're, doing one thing on your kid's car, we want to know that in your customer history, even if the mother took in a different car. And so we're trying to use some of our in-store technology with MapOS, with which we've been building, to see if those links and have them appear. So when a customer comes to check in, we can get a better sense of their relationships and their history. And then there's a future vision of creating some sort of account on our website where you could maybe share cars between people or link them within a household. Because then, if you're a parent, you can still help with your kid's car if you needed to. But that's very future state for us. We're still in the process of doing that householding and trying to learn from our customer data.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Morgan, Mike, for being with us today. Please give them a round of applause. Thanks.